I'm Julia Sondu, showing you where development is happening. Please come and join us. Israel publishes proof. Hamas is hiding tunnels under hospital. IDF claims Gaza medical facility funded by foreign Muslim donors was custom built with underground network. A hospital in Gaza funded by foreign Muslim donors was custom built with tunnels for Hamasists to use, Israel claimed on Sunday. In a briefing to international media, Israel Defense Force, IDF, spokesman Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari played video footage showing an underground entrance on the site of the Qatari-built Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa al-Thani hospital in Gaza City, which he said connects to the wide Hamas tunnel network. Another clip shared by the IDF shows Hamas gunmen firing from inside the hospital at Israeli forces outside, Mr. Hagari claimed. If it weren't enough that we exposed a tunnel under the hospital, that's also shot at our soldiers from within the hospital, Mr. Hagari said. Mr. Hagari claimed the IDF also had intelligence which revealed a tunnel network under the Indonesian hospital, also in Gaza City. He added that aerial imagery showed rocket launchers a few dozen meters from the complex. The Indonesia hospital, funded by several NGOs from Indonesia, had been equipped with tunnels for Hamas to use when its foundations were being built in 2010, Mr. Hagari said. Hamas built the hospital on top of their infrastructure before they started to construct the hospital, he said. The IDF has previously accused Hamas of locating its main base of operations under Shifa Hospital, the largest hospital in Gaza, as well as hoarding fuel for purposes. Our war is with Hamas, not the civilians in Gaza. We will not accept Hamas's cynical use of hospitals to hide their infrastructure. Hamas's exploitation of hospitals must come to an end, Mr. Hagari told the briefing. Hamas is also hiding rocket launchers in cemeteries, according to aerial surveillance images obtained by the IDF. The pictures, shared exclusively with the Telegraph, appear to show a series of rocket emplacements within the large cemetery in the Sheikh district of Gaza City. In a before picture, a small makeshift building with what appears to be a tin roof sits intact among graves. In the after picture, the roof has been blown off to reveal what the IDF says are the remnants of rocket launching apparatus inside. Hamas' strategy is to deliberately exploit mosques, schools, hospitals and cemeteries for purposes, an IFD official told the Telegraph. The IDF aims to strike military targets in accordance with international law. Although visual evidence of Hamas launching rockets from cemeteries has not been seen before, a recording of an intercepted phone call released by the IDF shortly after the Al-Ali Baptist Hospital bombing in Gaza on October 17 does mention such sites. The IDF also claimed it had located Hamas rocket launchers in close proximity to a swimming pool and a playground in Gaza. On Sunday, it reiterated a call for Gazans to move south, adding that humanitarian aid is being delivered via the Rafah border with Egypt. Colonel, Res. Panina Shavat Baruch, who for much of her career was an IDF lawyer advising commanders and other decision-makers, says there will be lawyers in IDF operations rooms 24/7, at the moment making sure all operational decisions are scrutinized ahead of time. Israel is a law-abiding country, and as such, even in its darkest hour, is obligated to act in accordance with the rules of war, she wrote recently. This time, however, those rules give Israel much greater room for maneuver because of the immense threat that Hamas poses to its security. She told the Telegraph that the key legal principles of war are the concept of distinction and proportionality. The principle of distinction means it is illegal to direct an attack against civilian objects. But when civilian objects are used for military purposes, they lose their civilian nature and become military targets that are lawful targets for attack, she says. This would apply to hospitals and any other civilian infrastructure used for military purposes by Hamas. Israel must also abide by the principle of proportionality, said Shavat Baruch. Proportionality in military law means the damage a planned attack is likely to cause must be proportionate to the military goal being pursued. An inside look at Israel's mission to find and destroy Hamas' vast tunnel network in northern Gaza. NBC News, Raf Sanchez entered northern Gaza for several hours with the Israel Defense Forces. In the wreckage of what was once a Palestinian beach resort, a team of Israeli combat engineers were facing a fundamental question about this war: when can an area be considered clear of Hamas? Israeli forces seized this strip of Gaza's Mediterranean coastline days ago. Since then, columns of Israeli troops have rolled through on their way south toward Gaza City. And yet on Saturday, the Israel Defense Forces said 3 Hamas fighters burst out of a tunnel hidden beneath the soldiers' feet to launch an ambush with assault rifles and rocket-propelled grenades. No Israeli troops were killed, the IDF said, but the tunnel represented a threat deep behind the front line. "So now we're going to blow it up," said an Israeli officer. Moments later, a heavy explosive sent a plume of deep red sand skyward. One tunnel down, many more to go. NBC News was given rare access to northern Gaza on Sunday, following the combat engineers on their mission to find and destroy Hamas' vast tunnel network. Hamas leaders have boasted that the labyrinth of tunnels is hundreds of miles long and full of traps. Israel's military says it represents a major threat to its ground forces as they advance deeper into the strip. "We joined a line of Israeli vehicles heading through a gap in the Gaza border fence, the same fence that hundreds of Hamas burst through on October 7th on their way to attack military outposts and civilians in border communities. After passing a series of staging posts, we stopped at the remains of a 2-story civilian home, one of the few still standing. The wall of the stairwell had been partially destroyed, forcing Israeli soldiers to duck beneath a twisted iron beam. The only sign of the Palestinian civilians who once lived there was a row of plastic jars on a spice rack, holding sugar and tea bags. A few feet from the abandoned kitchen, Lieutenant Colonel Ariel Gonen was looking at a small monitor held by one of his soldiers. It showed black and white footage from inside a tunnel. "We're in big operation to seize as many tunnels as we can, to investigate them and obviously to terminate them," he told NBC News. "The tunnels are underneath hospitals, everything. We see that they're under schools, under mosques." Gonen said the tunnel on his soldier's screen was just few yards away, in the backyard of the civilian house. Israeli forces had found it just a few hours before and had dropped a camera down its 15-meter shaft, about 50 feet, to see what was below. The search for the tunnel had been spurred by an ambush on Friday. "We got attacked by a few that came from this tunnel," said Major Mayan Mullah. "They came out, start shooting on us, and they run back. So we searched the area and we found the tunnel." Sketching a diagram in the dust, Mullah said the tunnels ran both east to west and north to south. The main prizes for his combat engineering unit were the larger, central tunnels, from which smaller ones shoot off. The tunnel network is not only a highway for Hamas fighters to travel the strip without exposing themselves to Israeli air power. They are also a hiding place for the group's leaders and, Israeli officials say, where the hostages are likely being held. Mullah said that as his troops explored the tunnels, they had not yet found any sign of the hostages. "They keep them in the center," he said. "Not up here. That's for sure that we didn't find them. The fate of the hostages weighs heavily on Israeli troops as they advance. It's been tough," he shrugged. But he said the memory of the October 7th was keeping him and other troops focused. "We know what we're fighting for. That's for sure." This is the end of our program today. See you on Intervlog same time tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon to get new video updates. Thank you for watching Intervlog. Thank you.